banking and swooping and doing loop-the-loops.
Yeah, he's barking at the radiator.
And then one day, the glass mouse said, I think I'm forgetting something. That's right. Glass mice eat metal. It hadn't really been eating very much because it was distracted by all the flying and swooping and banking and turning. And very, very tight, very near misses. It would get close to the wall and then it would just zoom right away while all the other mice were down there like, I really can't do that and I don't think that's a mouse. Whatever. The mouse said, I better go get something to eat. So it looked around and said, I could eat the radiator, but then the people would be cold. I could eat the phone, but then the people would be lonely. And I could eat the lamp, but then the people would be in the dark. So instead, the glass mouse ate the camera. Now, cameras, as you know, are made of a bunch of different things. They're made out of metal, and they're made out of buttons, and they're made out of pictures that have been taken by the camera and are now living inside it. So the glass mouse, which was used to eating metal, ate up the whole camera. Part of this tastes a little bit funny. It turned out that was the pictures which the mouse had eaten.
Thank you for reading.
And so then, the glass mouse had to stop flying, and it sat down, and it figured for one more year. It thought about all the pictures that it had eaten, which were now in its head. And it figured out one more thing. It figured out how to shine the pictures out of its eyes. And so then there was the wall of the house that all of the other mice used to think wasn't very interesting, but the glass mouse could sit. It could show them pictures by shining the pictures out of its eyes because it had eaten them all up, and so it had all the pictures to itself. And the other mice said, "This is phenomenal. That's just amazing. What do you call that?" And the glass mouse said, "Well, if I'm reading the data that is attached to this picture correctly, I think this picture is called Paris." And the other mice said, "Ooh, is all of Paris like that?" And the glass mouse said, "Well, I don't know. Let's look at another picture." The glass mouse showed them another picture, and they said, "What is that?" The glass mouse said, "I believe that is called a hot air balloon." And the other mice said, "Where does it come from? How can I get a ride in that hot air balloon?" And the glass mouse said, "I'm sorry, I don't know. I just know what it looks like. Let me show you another picture." So the glass mouse showed them one more picture. He said, "What is that?" It said, "I believe this is the North Pole." And the other mice said, "It looks very cold there." And the glass mouse said, "I don't think it would bother me. I'm made out of glass. But you folks might be out of luck." The other mice said, "You're showing us all these things that we don't understand, and we can't go and visit them ourselves. Is that fair?" The glass mouse said, "I guess you're right." And even though the other mice had never been especially nice to the glass mouse, it realized that it really had a job to do.
What?
So the glass mouse went, snuck out of the house, and it went out into the street, and then went to the sidewalk because you wouldn't want to get run over by a car. The glass mouse went out into the world, and it went to look for other cameras. And whenever it found a camera that no one was really looking at too carefully, the glass mouse would pull out its little mouse chopsticks, and sharpen up its little glass mouse teeth, and have a delicious meal out of that camera. And eat all of the metal from the camera, and all of the buttons, and all of the pictures, and all of the data in the pictures that told it more about the world, even though it was still just a glass mouse, and so it couldn't really see very far above the ground. I mean, even glass mice, when they fly, they can only get, about this high, about room height. Simple physics. And after many years when the glass mouse had eaten cameras from all kinds of different places, from people, from scientific laboratories where the cameras were taking pictures of experiments, it ate the cameras out of shopping malls that took pictures of teenagers who were standing around doing nothing. It ate the cameras out of camera shops that had nothing in them except pictures of people taking pictures of their own faces to see how the camera in the camera shop worked before they set it down and decided to shop somewhere else. It even ate pictures out of the camera of the Prime Minister of England, who takes pictures of things that you and I don't know anything about, because Prime Ministers have all kinds of stuff to do that is a total mystery to everyone who has never been a Prime Minister. And the glass mouse came back one day and said to its friends, "Did you miss me?" And the other mice said, "Glass mouse, right, yes, we missed you a little. We forgot about you mostly." And the glass mouse said, "Well, there's no time for that. and it ran over to the one wall that they had left empty, because even though they had forgotten about the glass mouse, they figured that there was something important about that wall they remembered. And the glass mouse said, "Look at this." And the glass mouse showed them picture after picture. It showed them pictures of Paris, not just the Eiffel Tower this time, but all of the museums and the arrondissements, which was a word it had learned that meant neighborhoods in Paris. And it showed them enormous vending machines with smiling grocery bags standing next to them. And it showed them pictures of the North Pole where there was not just snow, there were also scientists. And it showed
They
them
could freeze to death there.
Oh, the scientists are dressed very warmly. That's just one of the things that you would learn if you could actually see these pictures that the glass mouse had. And it showed them pictures of hot air balloons. Hot air balloons up in the sky, hot air balloons down on the ground, all flat and deflated, and with people looking at them confused because they didn't know how to inflate the hot air balloon again. And the other mice said, "This is wonderful. We know about all this stuff now. Thank you for showing us all of this." And the glass mouse said, "No problem. But I'll have to see you guys later because I think there might be at least one or two more cameras out there that I haven't eaten yet." And so it started flying again, and it flew out through the door, and it flew out into the world, and it's still out there now looking for cameras to eat. So remember, if you ever have a camera yourself, and you set it down, you better keep an eye on it, because otherwise the glass mouse might come along and eat it, and take all of your pictures, all of the memories that you wanted
Don't
to
worry,
save,
don't worry, don't worry.
and it'll share them with other mice.
Don't worry.
Great
Guess what?
story.
I
Thank you, Rio and Aaron.
don't have, my camera doesn't own anymore.
Oh, that's true. That wouldn't be